Are you struggling to lose fat and wonder why you're not seeing results? Well, chances are more than likely you're probably making one of these five mistakes I'm getting ready to talk about, and they're probably holding you back. Stick around because fixing these could probably mean the world to your fat loss journey. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jonathan. I went from 250 to 177. I lost over 70 pounds, and I pretty much made all five of these mistakes that I'm going to talk about in the beginning of my journey. But I found ways to kind of go around these things and fix them and then get the result that I want. Again, I went from 250 to 177, made these mistakes, but found workarounds. So without further ado, I'm going to hop right into it and kind of share some of the pitfalls that I would like for other people to avoid that I didn't really realize in the beginning. Okay, so for number one, I put this on my computer too. So number one was not picking realistic meals in the beginning. So like I talk about this in other videos too, but if you're going to approach fat loss, you want to make sure you pick a realistic meal plan. And what I mean by that, and let me not even say meal plan, because really this stuff is like a lifestyle. Fat loss is a lifestyle change. Fitness is a lifestyle change. But you also want to be realistic with yourself too, because yes, you can eat chicken breast and salad and to drop calories. But like, let's be real. Are you going to enjoy it? You get what I mean? Yeah, you can eat unseasoned boiled chicken, but is that something that you're going to actually enjoy, day after day, month after month, and then 2 years from now, when you're trying to maintain your physique, is that still something you want to enjoy? If not, let's not set yourself up for failure, right? Don't try to set yourself up for failure, because when I first started out, I was trying to do chicken breast and sweet potatoes, and I didn't want to deviate from the meal, but it doesn't work, man. It doesn't work long term. So you want to pick meals that are realistic to your lifestyle and things you actually like to eat. So like if you are a burger person, or you like pizza, or you like, just different types of foods, obviously we want to find substitutions that can cater to our fitness goals, meaning catering to like our protein intakes and our calories and things like that. But don't also be so restrictive in this, trying to pick meals that you essentially go crazy, and then it's not like consistent and you can't do it long term. So if you want to cut out sweets in the beginning, I say that's okay, because that's what I kind of did too. But eventually you're gonna have that craving and you're gonna go off the edge. Like for me, for my sweets of choice is like donuts. I still gave myself time to have some donuts though, because I realized that if I'm craving one real bad, I'm not just gonna have one. I'm gonna eat one, then I'm gonna eat another, and I'm gonna eat another, and the next thing you know, you're going off the rails. So mistake number one is not picking realistic meals or being too restrictive with the food that you eat. It all comes down to calories, so we want to make sure that obviously we stay within our calorie limit, but we also want to make sure that this is something that we can do continuously. Because again, you try to just limit yourself to, chicken breast and brown rice for the duration of your fat loss period, you can run into what's called diet fatigue, and, it'll just start to wear on you. It'll just start to wear on you. Mistake number two that I made towards the middle when I started to already see results was not tracking calories or eyeballing. And I got in, quotations, the nutrition aspect of it. It can be very dangerous, especially if you already starting to see like good results, especially if you're in the midpoint. You're not like where you want to be, but you're in the midpoint of your fat loss journey. You can kind of see the results that you want. Like I went from 250, and I think when I got to like the 190, 187 mark, 190, 187, you can start to, rest on your past laurels a little bit and be like, okay, I kind of know what I can and can't eat. You start eyeballing stuff, and you're not really paying attention to the hidden calories or how much you're truly eating, and you kind of stop tracking. And what happens is like you slowly can start to creep back up. So there was one period I went from like 187 and then 193, and I'm like, what's going on? It's like really you stop like doing the thing that got you to the point where you're at now. You started to believe like, okay, I got this down, and really when you don't, and you start eyeballing your meals or whatever, forgetting what you ate, all those things start to add up, and they prolong your fat loss progress, and they can derail you. A lot of people get to this point where they do it, and then let's say they trying to get down to 177, right? And they get down to 187, and they slowly start to creep up. Within the next 5 months, they start to creep back, and they're back up to 200 again. So this is one of the things you want to avoid, is like the thing that got you there, you want to maintain doing it. And this is the reason why I say it's why number one was picking realistic meals, because if you know within 3 months you're gonna relapse and start eating unhealthy stuff, it's probably not the best. That's probably not the best plan for you, right? So you want to continue to pick realistic meals. That's point number one. And point number two is to continue to track and not eyeball your food, right? And when you stop tracking calories and you start eyeballing your food, is when you can run into problems. Mistake number three is not knowing the difference between a healthy meal and a fat loss meal. And you're like, what does that mean, right? So for me, when I started out in the beginning, I was like watching bodybuilders and stuff like that on YouTube, Instagram, and like you watch certain fitness influencers. But here's the thing: I would look at what they ate and I would try to mimic the same meals that they had. And the problem is that you can watch something and they can say, oh, like this is healthy for you. Avocado with this and this and this, and eating almonds, avocado, and peanuts or whatever could be healthy because they have rich in omega 3s and all this other stuff and fatty acids, and they're healthy for you. Just because they say that doesn't mean it's like beneficial for fat loss. So what I mean is that if I had a bunch of avocado, which is high in fat, that's pushing my calorie limits very high. Not saying all fat is bad, but for me, fat loss, not just for me, for everybody, fat loss comes down to the calories that you intake in your body, and if we burn less calories than we need to maintain. So if I'm eating a bunch of avocados and almonds and stuff like that, and it's pushing my calories all the way up, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to end up gaining weight. Yeah, the scientists and doctors said it was healthy, but at the same time, it wasn't beneficial for my fat loss. It's not beneficial for my fat loss. So knowing the difference between a healthy meal and a fat loss meal. And when I brought up the bodybuilders, because I would see what they eat and try to mimic the same meals, but I don't have the whole picture behind their nutrition. And that's something you guys got to understand too, because like even for me, like I post my meal plans, my workout plans and stuff like that, but it's context to the whole entire thing. Okay, because you can watch one dude and he can eat all this like stuff that you like, man, I thought that stuff could get you fat, but you don't know, like during his 9 to 5 job, he's walking 30,000 steps. Because he works in construction or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's a construction supervisor. He had job sites. He's walking 30,000 steps a day, and then he's eating things and you try to mimic his same plan and it doesn't work for you because you don't have full context into that person's life. Again, and it goes back to this why I say picking realistic meals for you, because you have a job that's you're slightly active at your job, you're getting more steps in. You could probably have a little bit more food versus somebody who's like an IT, help desk person, or, they do computer programming. They're sitting down all day, 8 to 10 hours a day, and they're not moving much. You get what I'm saying? So the calories and the meal plans for those two different people are going to look different. And then I have a mistake number 4 that a lot of us tend to make, or that I made a lot, is lack of meal and workout consistency. Everything trickles back off my first point of the mistake of not picking realistic meals. But if you have a lack of consistency, it's probably because the thing that we picked wasn't realistic enough for our life. You get what I mean? You got to take the whole account of to who you are as a person into your fat loss. You get what I mean? So for me, meal consistency, making sure that I can eat the same meals over and over again, and I can like stick within the same macros with different foods and different meals, and also workout consistency, that my workout is set up, my gym activity is set up in a way where I can continuously stay consistent in it. So if that means that I go to the gym and I'm not like trying to like deadlift 525 or deadlift 415 for reps, which I can't do anyways. I'm not trying to be that strong or none of that stuff. But I'm setting mine up to where I can still continue day after day after day after day, still continue to show up and get results, and not injure myself or whatever, because I'm picking realistic things and I set my environment up to where it's easier for me to be consistent. But the number 4 mistake was really just like the lack of consistency. And that trickles back up to the first thing, is really setting your environment up to win. And if you don't, you're going to have a lot of lack of consistency in this fat loss program that you're trying to be on, or fat loss journey that you're trying to be on. And another thing too, mistake number 5, this is a big one. This is a big one for me. This is a big one for a lot of you guys. Is mistake number 5 is trying to rush the process. You're trying to go too fast, okay? And you may say, well, I'm trying to get this fat off of me. And it could work. Don't get me wrong. Going too fast can be beneficial. It can be beneficial because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I did it. I was set my fat loss to like losing 2 pounds a week. It was working. I was dropping the weight. But here's the issue: the speed in which you gain that weight back is gonna come back just as fast. And I'm not saying because you lose body fat fast, it comes back fast. The thing it takes for you to like burn body fat that quickly are like some extreme things where it may not be sustainable long term. So when you go off the rails, and notice I didn't say if, I said when you go off the rails, like that binge eating period can last longer. That's how you have people that tell you, oh, I lost weight, I got down to this, and you look at them and now they're 50 pounds heavier than they were when they lost the weight. They were lean. And we want to set it up now that we don't have to tell people I was lean and now I'm not. Now, obviously, health issues, stuff like that is a different story. But I'm talking about if we're a perfect, normal, healthy person. We don't want to be the type of person that now all of a sudden we talking about, oh, well, I was lean. Like it was a past tense thing. We want to have something set up consistently. So my suggestion And this is what I do now because I'm still making slight progress now. And I say slight because I have it set up to where it's like 1.5 pound, 1 pound per week. You get what I mean? Where it's reasonable and I'm getting more steps in, so I can have more food and still be able to enjoy my life and still be able to make progress and, you know, make gains and get leaner and, you know, be able to see my six pack and things like that. But it's not rushing the process, it's just enjoying the process. Because fat loss is a journey. So you want to fall in love with the food that you eat. You want to fall in love with the activity that you do in the gym. You want to enjoy, experiment with new workout plans and stuff like that. But you want to enjoy this process too at the same exact time and just be able to show up day after day after day. You know what I mean? So if you try to rush the process, yeah, it's fine. It can get you the result faster. But then, you know, the relapse period can be very bad. It can be very bad where you just stop tracking and you just kind of go off the rails because you're sick of like restricting yourself so much. So guys, I hope these 5 tips help. These top 5 mistakes, they help. And I'm pretty sure if you're not losing body fat, it's because it's one of these things that's affecting you right now. You know, it may be more than one. For me, it was all of them. For me, it was all of it at different points in my fat loss period, but it was all of them at one point. So guys, hope this helps. Stay tuned for the next video and peace.